So now I just ordered some more of these low voltage cutoff units. I bought one a long time ago. It looks like the price came down a lot for whatever reason, but it looks like they cranked these out and just various people sell them. And it was about $4 each for these. But in any case, this video, we are more interested in adding wires to it. So I got the wire there, that 16 gauge wire. We're going to have to strip the insulation and or cut the length and then strip the insulation. That tool will do that. And I'm going to put ferrules on both ends because they're stranded wires are just a bunch of little wires put together. It makes it more flexible and has some other benefits. But in any case, inserting them and removing them multiple times, they tend to bend out of shape and stuff. And so these little tubes will slide over it, and then you crimp it down. I believe 16 gauge will fit into this pretty well. And I probably would limit current to no more than 5 amps with this unit, even though they say it can go higher. I think that'd be a safe amount, 5 amps for the most part. So 16 gauge should handle that pretty well, and I'm guessing it's about the largest size that's going to fit in here if you attach a ferrule to it. We don't need this to be terribly long, but remember, we're going to have exposed metal on each side. So, maybe like that far. This particular tool, this little thing, locks it closed, by the way. And it has a little cutter right in there. There's a little blade that pops out. Just kind of hold it back on both sides. And it works pretty slick right there. So, I think this will be, probably about the right length. Now, we can do that with the red wire as well. But I'm going to do something a little different for a couple reasons. First off, I couldn't really see where I was cutting terribly well with that one. So these pliers, which I already have out here, they have a little cutter right there. So yeah, the blades come together. They're not like a scissors. They just, the sharp end comes to the sharp end, and it cuts wire pretty good. You don't want something that works like a scissors. So there we go. I can, line that up pretty well. We'll get about the same length. And they're stranded wires. You don't kind of want to pull on them if they are not cut. So I kind of like wiggle it around a little bit, make sure I snap every strand before I apply any force on it. But we should have pretty good wires there. So now we have the stripping part of the tool, and you can adjust how far back this goes, how far forward it goes. But if you don't want to take off that much, you can just slide it back. And so I believe we can actually fall a bit short right there. Now I'm just going to do one side of each of these wires right here, because this does kind of tug on the individual strands of wires, and so hopefully that's enough. And so if you pull that side, also that side, if there's not like enough insulation kind of holding them in place, the strands, sometimes you get one or two that kind of jump out or whatever. So first we're going to do one side and attach ferrules. So now these ferrules here, they came with that crimping tool I showed earlier. There's a box where this slides in, and then there's a cover for the tool that also slides into the box, by the way. But yeah, we need the E1508 there, but the main thing is it tells you the American wire gauge it's for. We're using 16 American wire gauge, so we're going to need, for now, a couple of these black ones. And when we do the other side, we'll need a couple more. So now, you want clean hands, probably. I just washed these not too recently ago. But I believe in giving it just a slight twist there. You may not need to. I'll try doing that one without the slight twist. This is a really easy process, though. So yeah, just screw this in. Yeah, I'm turning it the same direction that it was before. And actually, I could have had the wires longer. But in any case, this will stop where the insulation is. So whatever wire we had exposed, it will all go into the tube. The insulation's big enough. So it doesn't matter, I don't think, which way you go there. If you need to adjust the tightness, then there's that. But I've never done that before. I never needed to. This seems to make a good crimp right there, no matter what size wire I'm using. And what size ferrule. So yeah, there we go. And you should be able to pull this, and it should not pop off. And, it's kind of slippery wire. There's nothing really jagged to it. This you can grab onto, and it's not sliding off, so that's a good sign. So yeah, I didn't pre-twist these, so we're probably still okay. You can twist that on there. So yeah, that went on really easy. But I usually give it kind of a quick twist to begin with. Yeah, and that's it. Just slide it in, and you just squeeze it down. You don't even have to squeeze that hard. That's actually really easy for me to squeeze. Some other connectors are quite a bit harder to go. So now, this seems to make one side a little bit narrower than the other one. So if you have some tricky, I haven't loosened the screws yet. Maybe I can insert this. But if it won't insert one way, maybe if you give it like a 90-degree twist, it will go in easier. It's usually a little bit flatter in one direction than the other. And now we're going to do the other side. So if I had stripped the insulation off of both sides, it seems like more often the second side you do, if the strands are just sitting loose over here, then seems, you know, like second time you do that, a lot of times it yanks some of the wires out. So that's why I crimped this there. That should hold them all in place pretty good. And so I was hoping to do that all in one shot, but I dropped this, and I didn't want to extend this any longer. So again, we're yanking that off. I waited till I crimped that to help make sure that they stay in place pretty well. I'm going to set that tool out of the way, and then yeah, now it's quick. So again, I'm not going to pre-twist it by hand. I am going in the direction that it was already kind of twisted, but if you don't twist this one, it's more likely that some of the strands will bunch up. And again, we got this tool, really easy right here. So we are not going to be inserting this into, or one end I should say, into terminal blocks. These are called terminal blocks. The other ones we're going to clip alligator clips to. So you definitely, you can put these strands into the terminal block if you're careful. Again, they can bunch up easy and stuff. If you're only going to put it in once, leave it there for a long time, you probably don't need a ferrule. And any wire that's thicker than this, the ferrule might not fit into there as well. So you may just have to put the bare wire in there. Now this was trying to bunch up. I may, yeah, it's already kind of falling apart a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I got every strand in there because I was careful, and I added a little twisting action as well. And by the way, I just bought these, the inductor was, you know, kind of touching the capacitor, so I moved it back right there. I don't think we damaged anything though, and we'll see though. I haven't, I just got these in the mail, haven't turned it on. I do have one that I bought a long time ago, and for the most part, I don't think I had any problems. So this is the inside. Hopefully it says V in on there. Let's see how well I can get that. So yeah, V in. This one says V out, plus, minus, and then we got minus there and plus there. Ultimately, this is a switch. When it's off, this will power the board, and that's it. When this is on, it energizes a coil. So it takes some of the energy of the battery to energize the coil. Even when the coil is not energized, the LED needs a little bit of power. But any case, so it's always drawing like a little bit of power, always be aware of it. But when it's energized, then it connects that side to that side. We're just going to attach the power supply to this. And that was tightened down pretty well. So yeah, we want to go counterclockwise right there. And yeah, now we have an opening right there. Let's see how that went in really easy. So I don't know what gauge. I'll try a larger gauge wire later. So yeah, we don't have to worry about which way we put it in there. Now yeah, you just screw it down. Pretty easy. Let me double check. No, I put it in the wrong one. That's negative. So instead of doing the other one, we'll just put that in there. Yeah, that's a lot of room right there. So the little blue terminal blocks that I got, I think this is as large of a ferrule we can get in there. I do have some dual ferrules. You put two of the same wire into the ferrule and crimp the two wires together, and so it technically becomes one larger wire when you do that. And they come in different gauges as well, but mine are for two 16 gauges because I got a bunch of 16 gauge wire. So yeah, that's it. So now we're going to come to powering this. First off, I want to mention, there you can see there's a whole bunch of exposed pins right there. So you don't want to set this onto anything conductive. I do have spacers, and here are the spacers I got. So these are the sides without the threads right there, and here are the spacers with the threaded ends. And then you just grab the spacer that fits in there pretty well, the threaded end, and then you can also put another threaded end in there to extend it. And I find it's easiest just to take, so this was in the same spot in the other container, the one that doesn't have the threads. And so yeah, I find that to really get them tightened down, get it in and then just twist the threaded one. And it's easier to twist it because usually there's stuff in the way up there. But yeah, that usually connects them pretty good. So you do that on all four sides there, and it will be elevated. So these pins will be less likely to touch something. So now we're going to give the unit our first test. Well, let's go up to 1 amp. So we should not need that much, but that's what we'll set the power supply limit to. If we short circuit something or something, then that's less likely to do damage. First, I'm going to have to turn the power supply on. So we're at 5 volts, and it already looks like we're working. So it says 4.9. And so yeah, the power supply usually falls just a tad bit short of what you set there, coming through there. That's to be expected. And let's go to 4. So yeah, it looks like at 4 we're probably at the fail point. Looks like this unit might actually operate at 5 volts right there. And we're going to raise it. So I don't know what it's set to right now. But yeah, maybe it's that display there that we... okay, there we go. It's switched. Okay, so yeah, that LED lights up when it is switched. That's what it is. Okay, so 14.8 volts on there, but we got 15 there, so that's probably just letting us know the voltage that's on the display. I'm going to go down now, and I'm guessing 12.5 is about where it's going to disconnect. I think they preset that. Hopefully you can see that. 13.1, and I usually, turn the lights down. Okay, looks like probably like 12.6 approximately. So there's a middle ground region right there. It disconnected a load that we could have had there. The load would be powered by this. So you'd see that current added up to this. So like that's the cutoff point, which is probably higher than what I would want. I'm mostly using lithium iron phosphate batteries. If you get the 12 volt version, it's actually 12.8 volts the majority of the time right there. And usually it kind of holds that much until it starts making its way to like 12 volts, and then it kind of rapidly discharges, and you don't want to go below 10 volts for sure if you have a 12 volt lithium iron phosphate battery right there. So probably 12 volts is where I want to cut it off. So we will program that. Also, this unit it says it's made for 36 volt batteries, 12 to 36 volts. And I haven't found an accurate absolute maximum voltage. And so I'm guessing maybe it can handle like 50 or something. Because again, 36 volts aren't 36 volts. They're a bit higher as well. But I haven't programmed this in a while. So now programming it was a bit more complicated than I thought. I thought it was going to be simpler. I have one of these from a long time ago, but it's been a real long time. So, any case, right now we should have the supply voltage displayed there. We can adjust this to get closer to what is on there, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So, when it comes to these two button devices, pressing once or holding down, or even if I press the two of them there, I'm not sure what this does. I think it resets the board or something. But in any case, it looks like it maintains the settings after you do that. But we have, that should be the supply voltage. Now, one press of the left button there, the plus, so that shows us the cut-off voltage. So I'm going to lower this below 12 volts. We got 12.6. These aren't lined up perfectly. But there you can see 12 volts, what it thinks is 12 volts, was cut off right there. Now, we do a one press there, so you see 2 volts. So we have to go up 2 volts for it to reconnect. That's what that means. So the reconnect is dependent on what the disconnect is. It goes up a couple volts, so be aware that you don't actually set a specific voltage to reconnect. It's just a voltage higher right there. So now, we want to adjust the disconnect, and so I'm going to hold this down, and there's the down button there, and no, this I shouldn't have hold that down, sorry. we are actually adjusting the, so you see we got 14.2 volts there. It thinks it's 13.3, so we'll keep going with this. So if you don't like the difference between what this says the voltage is and what the supply voltage is, you can adjust it right there. That's what that does. So that's holding down the button to change that. Be aware of that. So now I held it a little too long. It bumped up a couple numbers. There we go. So wait for it to get done flashing. What I wanted to do was a single press right there. So 12. So I want to actually I want to change this. Double press. There we go. Now we see the decimal point, and we can go up to 13. And there we go. So a little bit of this I kind of figured out on my own, and I read some directions that I found. Okay, so now the cutoff point should be 13 volts, and we will should be right when we hit 13 now. But yeah, it looks like it's slightly different still. But still, we're about 1/10 of a volt off. It looks like that I can't quite get rid of. So in any case, we got 13. It cut off again. We're going to have to go up 2 volts. Remember that. So it's not 14 anymore because we raised the cutoff voltage 1 volt. Now we got to go up to 15. And I'll go back to 14. Why not? So we'll double press now. Do this right. And then it says that should have been able to change it. There we go. We see the little decimal point going. And so yeah, it has visual cues for you to look for. And there we go. Now I'm going to change it to 1 volt. So we have the disconnect at 13 volts. I got to go down to 13. I'll do it by tenths of a volt right there. Or yeah, the tenths, hundredths. Yeah, tenths of a volt. There's a decimal point right there. 13.0. So we went down to 13. I changed it to 1 volt that we have to go up. So somewhere right about 14, it should reconnect right there. So we're in that range, pretty close. Now there's the timing. So I believe the timing is you hold it down, and there you can see it's 0. We got the little decimal point there. Now I put it to 1. So our cutoff voltage and reconnect voltage are the same. I'm going to do this quick. Now I'll go up to 15. And there we go. So it's going to reconnect at 14. But what we just did was set a delay. And I think the delay may only go up to 10 minutes or something, even though it showed 3 digits. I could be wrong, just from what I read recently. And so yeah, I'll stretch this out a minute right there. So yeah, we disconnected. Now the voltage is high enough to reconnect, but we set a minute delay. And so we're going to have to wait about a minute. So this was what was confusing me. I wasn't reconnecting, and I'm like, oh no, did I, fry something? Who knows? But I did notice, pressing around the buttons, I saw, like the one when I saw that, I think I was trying to set it to 2 volts, thinking I was at that setting, but it was actually the wait time for it to change. And I thought this would have connected. There we go. So yeah, hopefully that was about a minute. And so that was kind of a long ramble. I probably shouldn't have did that, but I'll keep that in. I could have edited it out, but I wanted to prove that that's what that was. That was a delay. So I do not like that delay if I'm not sure what's going on. So I'm going to set it back to 0. So hold it down to change the delay right there. So I think that's kind of all the options we got. You got the single press to see what the setting is for the cutoff. Single press for the voltage. You have to go above that to reconnect. And then so double. And you got to make sure that point is there to change the voltage that it's going to cut off at when you drop below that voltage. When it thinks anyways that you're at that voltage, because you can adjust it a bit. And double press right there, and decimal point flashing tells you. So we could change it to 1.5 volts, that it goes up before it cuts off right there. And then it comes to holding the button. That seems to be your third option right there. And so yeah, that's to adjust the supply, what it thinks supply voltage is. But it's been like 1 off, So we'll go to that right now. We'll set it to 5.1, and for some reason it doesn't line up perfectly. But here you can see if I hold this down and I go up to like 16. Why isn't that going up? There we go. And if you don't press the button perfectly, sometimes it doesn't notice that you click the button. So yeah, there I set it to 16 when it's done flashing. So now it thinks the supply voltage is somewhere about 16 volts. There you can see it's about a volt different. So if you're moving this, and this is way different right there, but it's changing in line with that one, then you need to hold this down, and we can go a lot higher voltage. But you don't want to hold it down too long or it'll scroll quickly. And so yeah, I want to put this back to 23.1. Looks like there's some drift. And I really didn't mean to make this video this long, but this is what you have to do with these modules when you get them. You got to play around with them a while. They're a little bit confusing. Read what other people did, but as you can see, it looks like you can do a single press with either of these buttons, a double press for a different option, hold it down for a different option, and this I just kind of practiced, and it looks like it's like clearing it. I don't know, but I think it maintains the settings like that. So I don't know, maybe if you got a glitch or something you can hold them down. I don't know what, I didn't see anybody mention that one. So yeah, you can just kind of play around with them. Use the power supply though, don't play around where you got a battery and a load. Obviously make sure you got the settings right where it's doing what you want. It's gonna go down, it's gonna cut off when you get the supply voltage low enough. And so yeah, I thought I was pretty much done there, but I do want to see what the maximum voltage. I did that wrong. I wanted to, yeah, I did want to double press it. There we go, we got the decimal point there. Let's go hold this down. Now that I got a good connection, I think that was a problem before, just I wasn't connecting good enough. And let's see how high this goes. So it says like 36 volts for the battery according to the seller. And yeah, it looks like looks like it can go up to 58. So one different seller, I don't know if I can find them or not, said this can handle up to 60 volts. But any case, it's probably you know, best to stop with 36 volt batteries, and because they do have a bit higher voltage when I don't want to do that when they're fully charged than their nominal voltage. So double up. There we go. Finally got that decimal point. So it is kind of finicky. Oh, that goes up. That's the problem. Now we're going down. Okay. So yeah, really long video. Thanks for everybody that stuck around this long. But in any case, 36 volts is kinda, or nominal voltage was kinda the maximum voltage I wanted to work with. And so I think this module will work fine for that. Let's set it, anyways, I'm done fiddling around with it. Hopefully that'll make sense. I'll try to make a quicker video just for this module, where when I get really familiar with it, to show all the stuff that it can do. So don't wait for that video. I don't know when I'm gonna post it, but for now I think this is good enough. Mostly it was about the ferrules for connecting to this module, but since I was connecting it to this module, I figured we would look at what it does. And when it cuts off, that means it takes away the load. So when you have a battery instead of the power supply, it's not powering the load anymore. That's what this is intended for. Now, I think it's the LEDs. Right now it's connected. That's why we have that light right there. And so when we have the load connected, of course the battery has to power that load and power the module. When we get a low enough voltage where it disconnects, so I'll just drop this down. And that was too low. It won't even light the display. But yeah, like right now, it wouldn't be powering a load, but we still have to light the LEDs. So there you can see we got about 30 milliamps of current right there. So you got to be aware of that. And it looks like it goes, might change a little bit, maybe not, as the voltage goes up. But be aware of that. You always got about 30 milliamps of current this board is using. So you would not want to leave this connected to a battery forever. But large batteries, they barely change at 30 milliamps, even over hours. But for like days, weeks, or something, that could finally discharge them to much lower than you want. So this is just kind of intended to cut the load off, to protect the battery, not protect the battery forever from over discharging. You still want to keep an eye on it. But, you know, maybe something will go wrong. There'll be a short circuit. It draws too much current, and but doesn't fry anything. This will, you know, finally shut off the load, so it's not draining that massive amount of current, you know, over the short period of time that you were expecting. So you still check on it all the time. So, yeah, very long. Thanks for sticking around this long, whoever did that. I'll see you in the next one.